Hello Year 6, this is hopefully the second video that you have watched. If you haven't watched the one that I put a link into on your portfolio page, it explains one of the fraction questions. It explains how to work out this. So I'm not actually going to go through this question very much. So if you haven't watched it yet, please go back and watch it because it will share some new learning for this week. It's really important that you take the time to do that. So these are our questions for Monday. Hopefully you've had a really good go at them. I am moving you forward, so I expect you to find some of these things tricky. It won't be unexpected to find it tricky. So if you have, please don't worry. Bear with me and listen really carefully to how I explain it, and hopefully it will make sense. And then the questions tomorrow are a continuation of these. That means they build on them. So if you listen really carefully today, it doesn't really matter if you've got some of today's questions wrong, because if you listen carefully now, tomorrow's are very similar and it will give you a chance to practice. Okay, so the first question we had today is a fraction question, and in the video this morning I explained that we're going to have a bit of a fraction of focus this week. So what we're looking at is these are two fractions that have got wholes. Okay, so this is 2 and a bit and this is 1 and a bit. So we're adding fractions together. All right, we're very lucky because these two denominators, the bottom numbers, are exactly the same. So we don't have to get confused and think that 1 is divided into 4 and 1's divided into 5. They're both divided into 5, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the wholes first of all. I've got 2 here and I've got 1 there. I'm going to add those two together, okay? That at the moment gives me 3 wholes. Okay, then I'm going to look at the parts that are added on top. So the parts that are not that are smaller than a whole, basically. So I over here am going to add my 1 part to my 2 parts. I know my denominator is 5 because both of the denominators there are 5. So I've now got 1 add 2. Okay, so I have got 3/5. Now all I then have to do is to add those two together. So I've got 3 wholes. Okay, and I've got 3/5. So that is your answer. Now, if you weren't sure how to do this one, what you should have done is you should have actually drawn it. Not as a star, that makes no sense whatsoever, Mrs. PA. So you should have drawn it maybe as rectangles, okay, and actually drawn those fractions out. So you would divide this into 5 and this into 5, then you'd colour it all in, and that would be your 2 wholes, and then draw another rectangle. Okay, and divide it to 5, and then colour in just 1 part of it, and then do the same with the 1 2/5, and then count up how many holes you've got, and you would have 3 holes, and then count up how many parts you've got, and you would have 3 parts out of 5 coloured in. Okay, so if you're not sure with this, draw it out. Okay, so the next question, I've been quite nice to you today. We're looking at something, subtract 25.82 equals 47.99. So I've expressed this as a bar model just to make sure I'm clear. So I have a bigger number, I'm subtracting this number here, and I'm left with this. Okay, so actually my total is the bit that I'm trying to find, because I know that if I've got that total and I take that part away, I'm left with this part here. So these two parts added together gives me the number I started with. So actually, although it looks like a subtraction question, I am going to do some addition. Okay, so I'm going to put my addition sign there because I have to add those two together to find out what the number was I started with. I'm going to put that decimal point in there, and I'm going to start here. 9 add 2. Well, 9 add 1 is 10, so 9 add 2 must be 11. Okay, then I've got 9, 8 and 1. So 9 and the 1 make 10, add the 8 is 18. Okay, again, I'm thinking about it's got to read as 18. If I carry the 8 over, okay, that would be 81. Right, I've got 5 and 1 and 7. I'm going to do 5 add 1 is 6. And then I'm going to think about 6 add 7. Well, 6 add 6 is 12. So 6 add 7 must be 13. Okay, you might have a different way of doing it, but that to me is quite a good way to do it. Then I've got 4 add 2 add 1. So I'm going to do 4 add 1 is 5. Add the 2 is 7. So that is your answer. The number I started with, the number to go here is 73. Okay, 0.81. There we go. Right, so let's move on. Okay, multiplication. So we've got 209.5 multiplied by 4. Now again, you might be sat there thinking, I don't know my 4 times table. You've got to find a way of working with times tables that you don't know. So you all know your 10 times table, you all know your 2 times table, you all know your 5 times table, or at the very least you can count in those numbers, okay? So when we're thinking about 5 times 4, you can use your 5 times table. Now with the 9 times table, it's really close to the 10 times table. So if I was doing 9 times 4, I could do 10 times 4, which is 40, and then take one lot of 4 away, okay? Now, instead of doing this multiplication, you might decide that you want to double 209.5 and then double it again. If you double something, you're timesing it by 2. If you double it again, you're timesing it by 4. The most efficient way, though, is to do short multiplication like this. So I'm putting my decimal point in straight away, and then I don't need to worry, okay, about what these numbers are actually worth in terms of place value. I can think about them as individual digits. So 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so I'm going to carry the 2. And my 0 goes there. Now I'm going to do 4 times 9. So like I said, 4 times 10, or 10 times 4 is 40. So I'm going to take 4 away, and that will give me 9 lots. So 40 take away 4 is 36. Add the 2 is 38. Okay, so I'm going to carry that over there. Okay, 4 times 0. Remember, if you've got 0, which is the same as nothing, if you've got 1,000,001 lots of nothing, you've still got nothing. So we're just going to have to add that 3. Okay, and then we've got 4 times 2, which is 8, or 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay, so actually our answer is 838. The point 0, you can say that, 838.0, but you don't need it. Right, now this was a video that I did for you this morning, and as I said, I'm not going to explain it very much because the video explained everything I think that you need to know. So I'm thinking about, in order to have a whole fraction here, I need 5 parts. So I'm going to think, how many 5s can I get out of 45? Okay, so I'm counting up in 5s. I know 5 times 10 is 50, so that's too many. So 5 times 9 is 45. So 45 over 5 is the same as 9 wholes. So the answer is 9. There's nothing left over. We know that 45 is a multiple of 5 because it ends in 5. So again, all you needed to do was count up in 5s until you got to 45. So the answer is 9. Right. I am just doing this as a slight experiment because I'm not quite sure how many of you are actually watching these videos at all, or if you're watching all of it. And it's really important because this is the bit of the maths that actually you're getting some teaching from me. So White Rose is providing your other maths work. I'm providing you with arithmetic questions, but actually, as we say in school, it is the conversation we have about these questions that really moves learning forward. So it is the video of the week that I really, really, really hope that you're watching. So this is my little challenge. If you respond to any of the activities on your portfolio today, and if you write the word apple, I will be giving you 10 bonus dojo points, and that will tell me who has actually been watching the videos. So your challenge is to not tell anybody else about this, because I really want to see how many people are watching these videos. So it will ruin it if you start telling your friends what the secret code is. So I would suggest with your spelling activity, because it's about watching a video and they go on spelling shed, you don't actually have to do anything. So you can respond to me by just writing the word apple and then handing that in, and then I will then automatically give you 10 dojo points, and I will celebrate you along with the others at the end of the day. So this is a bit of a secret mission. As I said, I would be really disappointed if you told anybody about this, because it will just tell me who's watching it. Anyway, let's carry on. So now we're looking at the other side of the board, okay, and then we've got an addition here. Now, what I did when I was looking at this is I looked at the numbers before I calculated, and I thought, hang on a minute, 47 add 3. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the decimal. 47 add 3 is 50. Okay, so 47 add 3.89 would be 50.89. So rather than adding the 3 numbers together, I've added those 2 numbers together. Okay, and then I've put them there. Okay, so now again I'm going to put my decimal point in and do 9 add 6. Okay, so 9 add 1 is 10, and then if I've taken that 1 away from the 6, I've got 5 left, so it's 15. Okay, then I'm looking there, I've got 9 add 8 add 1. Straight away I'm going to do 9 add 1 is 10, and then add the 8. I can cross that off to show that I've added it. And I've got 9 add 0 add 1, so 9 add 1 is 10 again. Okay, and then 5 and 5 is 10, add the 1 is 11. So your answer is 110.85. Okay, so we've got a subtraction here that involves exchanges. It's really good to keep practicing this. So I'm going to change colour, just to get border green. Okay, and then I'm going to work it through. I'm going to make sure my numbers match, okay, the numbers in the question, and then I'm going to remember that I can't just switch the numbers over. I've got 2 subtract 5. I can't do 5 subtract 2, so I'm going to have to exchange. Okay, and I'm going to take 1 from there. I'm taking 1/10 and carrying it over and exchanging it. So now I've got 12 subtract 5. So again, you can take it away or you can count up. For me, that's easy to count up. So 5 add 5 takes me to 10. Another 2 takes me to 12. So 5 add 2 is 7. I have to count up 7 to get to 12. Then I've got 2 subtract 4. So I'm going to have to exchange again. I'm going to exchange from the units column and take 1 unit, which will give me 12/10. But again, because we're really clear about place value, we can think about it as 12. So 12 take away 2 would be 10, take away another 2 would mean I'm taking that 4 away, so that would give me 8. Okay, then I've got 8 take away 2, so 8, 7, 6, that would take me to. And then I know 4 add 3 makes 7, so my answer must be 36.87. Okay, what is half of 488? So half is the same as dividing by 2, hopefully is what you'll tell me. So I'm just going to partition this number. That means I'm going to break it up and I'm going to think about what each part of it is worth. So this is worth 8. Half of 8 is 4. Okay, this 8 here is worth 80. So I'm going to half that. I'm going to divide that by 2. So half of 8 is 4. So half of 80 is 40. Okay, and then I've got 400. So half of 400 is 200. So all I need to do then is to add these together. So 244 is your answer. Okay, so now we go on to the word problem. Okay, George is 83 centimetres tall. I think he is about that actually. How tall is that in millimetres? So we're starting to think now about centimetres and millimetres. So if you imagine that ruler, okay, and we're thinking, is a centimetre bigger or smaller than a millimetre? Now hopefully you've got one at home if you're not quite sure. Now, a centimetre, okay, is bigger than a millimetre. And if you look at a ruler, there are 10 little marks that separate 0 to 1 centimetre. So for every centimetre you've got 10 millimetres. So if I've got 83 centimetres, I need to times that by 10, and that will give me my answer in millimetres. So if I have a measurement in centimetres and I want to convert it, to change it to the same amount in terms of the measurement, but express it, that means show it as a different unit of measure. So I'm going to now think about going from centimetres to millimetres, like I just said. I need to times it by 10, because for every centimetre I've got 10 millimetres. So my answer is going to be 10 times bigger. Okay, the challenge, how tall would that be in metres? So I'm thinking about 83, okay, centimetres. Now, if you think about a metre, that will be one of those metre sticks we hold at school, okay? 100 centimetre, okay, 100 centimetres equals 1 metre. So George is not even 1 metre tall because he's not 100 centimetres. So I know my answer is going to be 0 point something because he's not even 1 metre tall. Now, what we've got to think is for every 100 centimetres we've got, that equals 1 metre. Okay, so what we've got to do is divide our 83 centimetres by 100, and that will give us our answer. So we're going to think about 83, and we're going to divide it by 100. So we're going to move each number down 2 place value columns, because in 100 there are 2 zeros, that reminds us. So my 8 is worth 80. If I was dividing it by 10, it would be worth 8. Okay, but I'm not. I'm going to divide it by 100, so I'm going to move it down 2 columns, okay? So then I'm going to do the same with my 3. It's worth 3, now it's worth 0.3, now it's worth 0.03. Okay, I'm going to put 1 in there because that's how we would recognise it. So, in metres, George is 0.83 metres tall. Okay, so we'll practice that again tomorrow. I hope you've listened really carefully, and then you could apply this knowledge to the questions tomorrow. Don't forget about our challenge.